Update. Am I the a-hole for refusing to change my baby's name after I named her after my dad's affair partner? Original post. I, 26 female, just gave birth to my daughter Annabelle. I didn't announce it beforehand because in the past one of my family members stole a baby name and it created a lot of drama. My mom wanted to know, but I was adamant on keeping it a secret. My mom and dad was in the room when I gave birth, and when it was time for me to sign the birth certificate, my mom asked me for the name, and I told her Annabelle. Her face went pale, and my dad didn't look too happy, but he said he loved the name. My mom left a few minutes later claiming she didn't feel well. She said she'll come over in a few days to help with the baby. Now I'm at home with the baby and my mom hasn't talked to me that much. We used to talk every day, so I was confused by this sudden behavior. My sister Emily lives with mom still, so I called her over to talk. When she got to my house, she explained how she overheard dad and mom arguing because about 10 years ago, dad had an affair with a coworker named Annabelle. Mom hasn't been talking to him, and he's been trying to get her to talk. I guess dad, realizing that Emily had come over, decided to come over himself. He asked if there is any way that I can change Annabelle's name. I asked him why to see if he'll tell me the truth, and he did. He admitted to the affair. He begged mom not to leave him and she stayed, but just hearing that name had always put her in a bad headspace. I told him I can't, and that Annabelle was the name of my husband's grandmother who helped raise him. My dad begged and pleaded for me to change it, saying mom was in the middle of packing her bags and heading to her sister's house. I told him I won't change her name and that it means so much to me and my husband. He began to raise his voice, and immediately my sister yelled back and told him to get the heck out. She told him not to stress me out about a mess he created. He left immediately. I'm not changing my baby's name, but I feel like this is tearing the family apart. What should I do? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Call your mom. Tell her you're so sorry and had zero idea about any of this. Tell her if she wants, she can call your daughter by first and middle name. That might give some separation. Or make a nickname. Tell your mom everything you know about Grandma Annabelle. She liked to knit. She had an infectious laugh. Her eyes were blue. She did ballet. She needs mental separation from her husband's fling. As far as the affair, dad needs to figure that out. That is between them, and if your baby uncovered feelings, then that's their problem, not yours. They need therapy or a split, not the a-hole. OP's mother politely excused herself and hasn't caused a fuss or tried to get OP to change the name. It unearthed some stuff that made her pack her bags. And looking at the age of OP and her having a sister living at home with the parents, it's easy to think OP's mother thought it was best to stay in the marriage when she had 2 teenage girls to take care of. OP's mother doesn't have to stay anymore now they're grown. I know I'm assuming a lot here. So she's finally able to take a break from the cheating husband. Neither kid knew about it, so that was a lot to hide and bury and play happy families for another decade. The mom is finally reacting. OP's dad is the a-hole here, asking to change the baby's name like that would make his wife forgive and forget. Changing her name now would only add more attention to the name and therefore situation for now and the immediate future. But I love the idea of OP and the husband telling OP's mom all about the actual woman she was named after, all the beautiful things to associate with the influence. That's such a gentle way of claiming the name. Not the a-hole, but be prepared for your mom to probably not having much to do with your kid. Grandma could work on her triggers, but there's no guarantee she could overcome it enough to be a good grandmother to that baby. It's hard work, and sometimes people can't make the hurdle. There's options. I mean, it depends on how triggering it is for her. Because my grandmother never called Pickles, she called me Princess. Kiddos will often have special names with grandparents. But it's a cruel way for your children to find out that their father cheated on their mother. But you know, points I guess, because they kept it from them and didn't make grown-up problems their kid problems. Damn, why is he raising his voice after mistakes that he made catch up to him? Emotional immaturity and ego. Same reason why he had an affair. Small edit. Annabelle isn't her real name. Her real name only has 3 letters, so a nickname based off her name wouldn't be possible. And a lot of you suggested to change her first name to her middle name, but her middle name is my mom's name, and I don't want to change that. Now for the update. So my sister went over to my aunt's house to talk to my mom about what happened. My mom then came to my house to talk. She broke down saying how sorry she is for being distant, and that it was wrong not to communicate with us about what was happening. She said while the name did shock her at first, she knew how much Annabelle meant to my husband, and that she'll never do anything to discredit the work she put into raising him. I asked why she didn't tell us about the affair. She said because she knew that she was mentally too weak to leave, and the last thing she wanted was to show us it's okay to stay with a man who cheated on you. I asked if she planned on leaving Dad, and she said she doesn't know. She admitted that she never got over the affair and is mad at herself for ruining the moment her granddaughter was born. I told her is there a nickname that she wants to call her by, and she said no, and that she wants to honor the memory of Annabelle's great-grandmother. We hugged it out and talked. So I think everything is okay. I think your mom was hurt by your dad, and it's just a reminder. But your mom totally is awesome to acknowledge that she handled the name reveal poorly, and how important your husband's grandmother was. Your mom just sounds super sweet, so I hope you guys are good now. I'd hate for this affair to hurt her relationship with you or your daughter. Right? I really want to give Opie's mom a hug. Are you going low contact with dear old dad for the time being? Sounds like he has been acting like a bit of a prick in this situation, coming in hot and raising his voice. That man doesn't have the moral high ground here. The thing is, I've never seen my dad act like that. So I'm going to go no contact until Annabelle is older and I'm healing from the birth. Then I'll see where he's at. And if he still blames me, then I'm going no contact permanently. Yeah, this is not fixed. She's saying things but not feeling them yet. And it's going to seriously hit the fan if she winds up divorced. Or your sister starts harping on her to divorce because she will 100% associate your kid with her life falling apart. I get this is a possibility, but I'm pretty sure no one will blame my child. My father will 100% be responsible. Even my aunt told her that the baby is innocent, but that nobody is to blame but my dad. My mom looks up to my aunt and usually listens to her advice. I'm pretty sure my aunt was pushing for her to start a divorce, so it's most likely going to happen. But how will your baby feel when they grow up and potentially hear the story about how they have the same name as their grandpa's affair partner, and their name was the catalyst for their grandparents' divorce? That's a lot to put on a child. Maybe they will never find out, but maybe they will. They will hear the story about the woman who stepped up to take care of her father because his mother was on drugs. They will hear the story about how she saved her grandson from ending himself. They will hear the story about how she worked 2 jobs to save up for his college fund. She will hear the story about how her great-grandmother had to make multiple sacrifices to make it to every football and baseball game. I think that trumps my dad's affair partner. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife she's freaking wrong and that my mom is right? I, 35 male, have been married to my wife, 32 female, for 5 years, and we've been struggling financially for the past few months. I lost my job about 3 months ago, and while I've found part-time work, it doesn't pay nearly as much as before. We've had to cut back on a lot of things, but it feels like no matter what we do, we're still living paycheck to paycheck, and even pulling from savings. Recently, my mom, 65 female, came over to visit, and she noticed how stressed I was about the money situation. She offered some advice on how we could save money. Things like cutting down on takeout, meal prepping to avoid buying groceries multiple times a week, and switching to cheaper brands. My mom has always been frugal, especially when she was raising me and my siblings on a tight budget. I thought it made sense, especially since we're really trying to save wherever we can. I asked if she was willing to go through our spending and show where we could cut down. My wife agreed with this. She made a whole spreadsheet about our spending, and we are spending way too much on fun stuff. We don't need Starbucks every day and so on. It also became apparent that most of the fun spending was my wife's. My wife did not take the breakdown well and started arguing with my mom that her spreadsheet was wrong. She said that my mom's way of doing things is outdated and doesn't work for us. She doesn't want to give up buying organic produce, and she likes having variety in what we eat each week. I tried to explain that we need to make some sacrifices if we want to get out of this financial hole, but she kept insisting that things weren't as bad as I was making them out to be, and that we just needed to ride it out. My mom left at this point and we were still arguing, and she told me she can't give up her takeout. She also went on about my mom being wrong. That's when I lost my patience and said, "You're freaking wrong. My mom is right. She managed to raise 3 kids on one income, and we can't even cut back on groceries for a few months?" My wife got really upset, saying I am being a huge jerk for siding with my mom and that my mom is outdated. She's barely spoken to me since, and now I'm wondering if I went too far. But the way I see it, we need to be realistic about our situation, and my mom's advice could actually help us get back on track. Not the a-hole. Your wife agreed to go through your budget with your mom. Your mom took the time and effort to review things, and then it sounds like your wife was very rude and dismissive. As far as I know, math hasn't changed that much in the last 30 years, so it's not clear how your mom's views are outdated. You are right, the math didn't change. The solution is simple, even if it's unpleasant for a bit. She was fine with your mom's help until it showed where the money is really going. Most of us have been in your shoes one time or another. Tightening up the financial belt is hard, but you do what you have to do to get by. In my experience, after living with less, you actually prefer it. If we get takeout, it's a treat, and planning meals ahead saves a lot of money. Good luck. This is how I do it. I just assumed she only got takeout as special treats. Others tough as treats, but that spreadsheet made it clear that's not the case. I'm actually shocked she doesn't hate takeout, since it seems she gets it every other day. The person you marry is the most important financial decision of your life. I would be furious if I was struggling to bring in money and my spouse was wasting money on takeout. I was financially abused by my husband, and your wife is doing also what is done to me. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to walk my daughter down the aisle because of what she did to her mom? So this has been an ongoing issue in my family for a while, but now that the wedding is coming up, everything has come to a head. I, 50 male, have a daughter, Emma, 26 female, who I've always had a very close relationship with. I've been married to my wife, Emma's mom, Laura, 49 female, for 30 years now. We're a solid family, or at least I thought we were. Here's the backstory. A couple of years ago, Emma met her now fiancé, Tom, 28 male. Things moved fast between them, and she was head over heels for him. We were happy for her at first, but something changed about a year into their relationship. Emma became distant from us, especially her mom. Laura and Emma used to be really close, but all of a sudden, Emma started snapping at her for little things, avoiding family dinners and not sharing anything about her life. Then we found out why. About a year and a half ago, I overheard Emma and Tom having a conversation when they didn't know I was around. She was saying horrible things about her mom, stuff that really broke my heart. Emma was telling Tom that she couldn't stand how overbearing her mom was, that Laura always tried to control her, and that she felt like Laura was jealous of her life and success. She even said she resents her mom for putting so much pressure on her when she was younger. I was floored. Laura's always supported Emma in everything she did, from helping her through college to emotionally supporting her during rough patches. I never saw any of this coming, but instead of addressing it right then, I wanted to wait and talk to Emma calmly later. When I finally brought it up with her, she completely shut down and got defensive. She claimed I was taking her mom's side, and that I didn't understand what it was like to grow up with someone who was always in your business. She said some really hurtful things and ended up storming out. After that, she basically cut off her mom entirely, except for the absolute bare minimum communication for holidays or family events. Laura's heartbroken, and I'm angry. It's been a mess. Fast forward to now, Emma's getting married. She called me last week to ask if I could walk her down the aisle. But here's the thing, I don't feel right doing it when she's treating her mother like this. Laura's not even invited to the wedding. Emma said it would make things too uncomfortable if her mom were there. I told Emma that I can't walk her down the aisle if she's excluding her mom, who's done nothing but love and support her all her life. I said that until she makes things right with her mom, I won't be part of the wedding. Emma was furious. She accused me of choosing mom over her, said I was ruining her big day, and claimed I was punishing her for being honest about her feelings. She's now threatening to go no contact with both of us, and I'm torn up inside. I love my daughter, but I can't stand by and watch her treat her mother like this. Am I the a-hole for refusing to walk her down the aisle? I think you need to find out what happened between your daughter and her mom a year and a half ago. This didn't come out of nowhere. She met Tom's mom and is comparing them now. That could be a very likely possibility. Lord knows I knew my mother was awful, but it didn't hit me how awful until I got to know my mother-in-law. My God, I miss that woman. I have a severe skin disease and have to coat myself head to toe in moisturizer daily. It can be very expensive. My mom always acted like dealing with it was such a hassle and I was an inconvenience. We lived on the West Coast. Mother-in-law lived in the Midwest. This was before she met me and we had only talked on the phone. She went out and bought a box full of my moisturizer and put Winnie the Pooh stickers in every jar as she knew I loved Winnie the Pooh. I opened that box addressed to me, and that didn't have a single thing for her son. I saw all those jars and those stickers and just cried. It was one of the sweetest and most considerate things anyone had ever done for me. When I finally did meet her, she was picking us up from the airport. And she cried and just hugged and held on to me, saying how happy she was to finally get to see me and hug me. I felt more loved than I'd ever felt from my own mother. One of them sat next to me and asked me all about my hobbies and what I was working on, and asked about my dogs by name, and I realized my mother-in-law really talked about me to her friends, and that she thought very well of me. On that same visit, my husband was being a real pill to me one day and she absolutely gave him hell for it. Just writing this is making me get teary-eyed. I miss that woman so much. While it was awful having her die, I'm glad she never knew that her son and I divorced. I would have broken her heart. She and my sister-in-law often told me that if he and I didn't work out, they would choose me over him. I don't think that was true, as sister-in-law definitely didn't pick me even though her brother was a real POS. But I have no doubt that mother-in-law would still be in contact if she were alive. My mother doesn't even compare to her.